What's happening, everybody? It's a new day, another snow day. For those of you who don't know me, welcome to this channel. Thank you for being here. I love you. Listen, I wanted to talk about this big topic today that I had, and this whole making your success a reality thing has really just been sticking its nails in me today. And I wanted you all to know, and I have to remind myself, that success for you is going to look different than it is for everybody else. And same with me and everybody else out there. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're chasing success. I just, the feeling, the reality of it, the security of it, something about that feeling, that, knowing you are in a state of success or successful. It's crazy, because I know that even in seasons of lack, if I were to double back, or if you were to double back and become even more successful, the second round trip, the second rotation around the sun, around the earth, whatever, that really would hit hard. You would really come in with everything you had. And you're in the right headspace, but if you had that much more success this time around, or maybe you don't have success at all right now, just know, I know the feeling is there. You're waiting for things to align, but maintaining that mindset is very important. The correct mindset, a positive one. Just know that everybody's definition of success for them is going to be different. And I want that for you. I want that for me. Sitting in the fact that, okay, material things do not matter, but at the same time acknowledging there's a feeling within that makes us feel good, or we feel security within our things, or it's like good and bad. What if you weighed all the positive mindset with the resources, and you could find that ideal balance without things getting too crazy? You know what I mean? That's just something that I was thinking about today. And I had this feeling inside that success is my only option. I want that to be the case. I don't want to just let that go ever. Now, what that looks like, what does that look like? What kind of sacrifices are going to go into that, and this and that? Those are the questions that are the hard questions. But I'm trying to put my time in the right places. I'm spreading my eggs out a little bit and just looking at the world, and I want to also have time for myself too. We want to have time for ourselves. So again, it's this balance that we try to maintain. We're juggling all these things, and we really want to make sure that we're happy. We're taking care of ourselves. It's hard to do that all at one time when there's a million different things going on. So yeah, I just have this longing of success, and I feel for you guys. I feel there's something in the distance that's going to be coming up. There is some positive closure happening in your life right now. And me too. You know, I feel that. I feel that for us. I feel that there's something coming that's bigger than we've ever hoped for. I prayed for that today. And I did this morning. I prayed for something for God to send me something that I've never experienced before. You know, a level of positivity, a level of, you know, something coming into my life that just really just levels everything out. I don't know what it is. You know, obviously, you know, he has the ability to do that himself, but, you know, to seek that alignment with source is, you know, you can't go wrong ever. That's why I say when wealth does come your way, when that big thing does happen that aligns everything else, you know, and solves a few problems over here, you know, you're when you look back at it, you're still going to be aligned. You're not going to like throw away, give up the loss of alignment, or give up alignment for material or success or fame or whatever. But it's such a crazy dynamic to put yourself in different situations and say, well, what if I could do that? What if I was here? What if I was at that point in my life? You know, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But I think a lot of us long for a certain type of experience. What do we want our experience to be? Who do we want to gain experience from? Words. You know, who do we want to follow after? Who do we want to be like? Who do we want to aspire to become? What type of person? You have to be that person today. And this is the beauty of it, right? Nobody is going to step on your toes. They can try. But that's the beautiful thing about my life is I don't walk out here and just step on people's toes. I'm focused on myself, my own journey. Now, when love, support, and all that comes, even with my enemies, I give back. I try and, you know, do the right thing and give and love. But I never push back on anyone else and what they have going on in their lives. But I had this feeling of like, what if that big break came that I was looking for? Now I know it's not going to feel so good to the point that it's going to solve every single thing in my life. In fact, it might create more problems. It might come with more new responsibilities that I didn't want to take on. And I know a lot of other blessings have in our lives. They've come with responsibilities that we didn't sign up for when we were looking at the writing on the wall, right? The fine print. But it was there. It was in the contract. Now we're like, man, why is everybody expecting so much from us? Well, what do you expect of yourself? That's the real question. What others expect of you, let's call it unrealistic. Let's call it their unrealistic expectations. That does not define your worth. You define what your success is going to be, what that's going to look like, and how you're going to get there. You know, and when it comes your way, when these things happen in our life that are so unexplainable, that we're so grateful for them, that cause life-changing, have life-changing effects. The resources, if the resources were there, if they were unlimited, if this, if that, you know, if everything were to align, yeah, it would be it would mean that much more. But I hope those events still happen that change your life. And I'm feeling something big, and I prayed for something big this morning. I just watched a girl get out of her car, and all of our cars right now are just covered in salt. But this lady, the only thing she did was she went back there and she wiped her camera, right? Those little devices that like spray on your camera to keep it clean. And I've been doing that myself. I'll take a rag, I'll go out there and just, if I'm not in that phase where I'm going to be washing the car or whatever, I'll just do that, right? But you think about it, that is like, that solves everything, right? You have air in the tires and this and that, but maybe gas in the tank, but you can see everything around you now. You can visualize it. And it just takes one step to see things that were unseen before. What if something comes your way that you haven't seen yet? And then you choose to wipe that lens a little bit, and then you're like, wow, okay, I feel like I'm ready for I see different opportunities, but I don't know what's coming my way or what I want to walk towards. But when she wiped that camera, that gave her what she needed that's all she needed. She needed to be able to see and visualize. I understand, we say walk by faith, not by sight, when we quote the Bible, right? But what you can see, what you can control, focus on that as well. Don't worry about anything else. And it made me think, when she did that, it was like, okay, she could control that much. Maybe she couldn't get her car washed. It didn't make sense for her to anyways, probably, because it's just going to get salty again. There's winter months. But how smart was that? She focused on what was important. She took a step back at the situation, and she was like, you know what? I need to be able to see in reverse. I need to be able to see what's around me so that I can make accurate moves in traffic, so I can see pedestrians, so I can back into a space. It's going to help me, right? See, when I was growing up, learning to drive, we didn't have that technology. We had to physically learn how to back into a space the best we could and get into that space. Otherwise, you were hitting a cone, or you were doing this or doing that. They would fill you. And so I even was very fortunate that I chose vehicles that were very slow, or they were old, so I can move into a space slower, easier. I could give myself time to speed up, merge into traffic. Nowadays, everything's like that, right? It's like, boom, right back in your seat. That's how all these cars are made, or you're so focused on technology that you're not in the zone. But yeah, guys, I mean, aside from that little story there, it gets you thinking about where you want to be with your success and what steps you need to take when you walk into a situation. You're like, look, I just need to focus on, let me not focus on the drama with this individual, a boss, a coworker, a neighbor, somebody who doesn't even know me, who is in public. And let me step back, look at the big picture in this situation. What do I need to be focusing on? Well, probably need to be focusing on my journey, and pull things down from the rafters that you haven't done before. Dust off some old skills and get to it. Like for me, I'm literally writing down my hopes, my goals with pen and paper, like old school. I'm literally playing audiobooks and sitting down and reading audiobooks that I wouldn't have read in the past, because I want to stimulate my mind. It doesn't matter if I'm going to create a new business today or apply it in a different aspect of my life. Maybe I want to create a business today, or do this or do that. Maybe I want to go to the park and protect my peace. Maybe I want to invest in myself. But that's the thing, is like, the more I write things down, I've noticed it's becoming my reality, literally, from the pen to the paper. And then I live that, right? So I hope for the best for you all today, and I hope that you guys can experience something in your life, something huge that comes in your life that you never even knew you needed. I hope that happens for you. I don't know what it is, but I hope that happens for us. And I think we're ready. I think we've learned our lessons, and we've come out of this rut that we've been in for far too long. And I hope that many people can experience wealth, prosperity, resilient mindsets, optimism, positivity, love, grace, all these things. Stay well, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you on the next video. Love you.